Every story is a door. You came here because there's a door calling your name. The orb sees everything. It knows what you need. It has chosen. I only retell. Real or fiction? I won't say. You only need to find meaning for yourself. Listen. The crystal glows with ancient light tonight, carrying a tale from a temple hidden in the mountains. Tell me, dear listener, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see a friend? Or do you see an enemy staring back? The crystal shows me now a room. A sacred room with 1,000 mirrors on every wall, floor, and ceiling. A room that reveals not your face, but your soul. Tonight, I share with you the story of a young woman named Kira. A woman who believed the world was cruel, that people were enemies, that life was a battle to be fought alone. She journeyed to find this legendary room. And what she discovered inside changed everything she believed about the world. This is the room of 1,000 mirrors. Listen carefully, for the mirrors in this story may reflect something about you. Kira was not always this way. When she was a child, she saw magic in everything. Strangers were friends she had not met yet. The world was full of wonder and possibility. But life taught her different lessons. At 8, her father left without saying goodbye. She learned that people you love can abandon you. At 15, her best friend betrayed her secrets to the whole school. She learned that trust is a weapon others use against you. At 22, she gave her heart to someone who shattered it into pieces. She learned that love is just another word for pain. By 25, Kira had built walls so high that no one could reach her. She walked through the world with armor around her heart. When she looked at people, she saw threats. When she looked in the mirror, she saw someone unworthy of love. The world had become her enemy. Or so she believed. Then one night, her grandmother told her about a temple in the mountains. A room with 1,000 mirrors that showed the truth about who you really are. Kira decided to find it. Not to heal, but to prove that her darkness was justified. Kira traveled for 7 days through forests and mountains. Each night, she slept under stars that seemed cold and distant. Each day, she walked paths that felt lonely and endless. On the 7th evening, she reached the temple. Ancient stone walls covered in moss. Prayer flags faded by centuries of wind. An old monk stood at the entrance. His eyes were gentle, like warm pools of honey. "You seek the room of 1,000 mirrors," he said softly. Kira nodded. "I want to see the truth." The monk smiled sadly. "Many come seeking truth. Few are ready for what they find. The mirrors do not lie. They show you exactly what you bring into the room." Kira did not understand his words. She did not care. "Show me the room," she demanded. The monk bowed and led her through winding corridors lit by flickering candles. The air grew thick with silence. Finally, they reached a massive wooden door, carved with images of faces, some smiling, some weeping. "Remember," the monk whispered, "the mirrors reflect what is inside you. Choose what you carry through this door." Kira pushed it open and stepped inside. The room took her breath away. Mirrors everywhere. On every wall. On the ceiling. On the floor. 1,000 perfect surfaces reflecting into infinity. Kira stepped forward and looked into the first mirror. And froze. The reflection staring back was not just her face. It was her face twisted with anger, with suspicion, with hatred. She turned to another mirror. The same hostile eyes glared back. She spun around. Every mirror showed the same thing. 1,000 versions of herself, all looking at her with contempt and rage. 1,000 enemies. Kira's heart began to race. She felt surrounded, attacked from all sides. "Get away from me," she shouted. "All of you." But the reflections only moved closer, their eyes burning with the same anger she carried inside. She ran to the door, but it would not open. The reflections surrounded her, pressing in. And then she heard a whisper. 1,000 whispers speaking as one. "We are what you see. We are what you believe. We are you." Kira collapsed to the floor, trembling. She had found her truth. And her truth was a prison. Kira lay on the cold mirror floor, surrounded by 1,000 hateful faces. Her own faces. Her own hatred. Then, from somewhere deep in her memory, a voice emerged. Her mother's voice, from long ago. "My little star, the world reflects what you shine upon it. If you share darkness, you receive darkness. If you share light, light returns to you." Kira had forgotten those words, buried them under years of pain. But here, in this room of truth, they found her again. She closed her eyes and remembered. She remembered her mother's warm embrace. She remembered laughing with friends before the betrayal. She remembered what it felt like to trust, to love, to hope. A single tear fell from her eye. And with it, something inside her shifted. She whispered to the 1,000 mirrors, "I am tired of being angry. I am tired of being afraid. I am tired of seeing enemies everywhere I look." Slowly, she opened her eyes. And the room had changed. The reflections were still there. 1,000 of them. But now, they were not glaring. They were waiting. Waiting to see what she would choose next. Kira rose to her feet slowly. Her legs trembled, but something had changed inside her. She looked at the nearest reflection. And for the first time in years, she did something different. She smiled. It was small at first. Uncertain. Like a muscle she had forgotten how to use. But the reflection smiled back. Kira's breath caught in her throat. She turned to another mirror and smiled again. That reflection smiled too. She began to walk through the room, smiling at every mirror she passed. And one by one, 1,000 reflections smiled back at her. The room transformed. Where there had been darkness, light bloomed. Where there had been enemies, friends appeared. 1,000 friends. All of them her. All of them reflecting the light she chose to share. Tears streamed down Kira's face. But these were different tears. She finally understood. The world had not been her enemy. She had been carrying the battle inside herself all along. And everyone she met simply reflected what she projected. The angry world she saw was the angry world she created. The hostile faces were mirrors of her own hostile heart. But it could change. She could change. And in that moment, she was free. When Kira emerged from the temple, the old monk was waiting. He looked at her face, now soft with tears, and something new. Something that had been missing for a very long time. Peace. You found your truth, he said gently. Kira nodded. I thought the world was full of enemies. But I was the one creating them. The monk smiled. The room of 1,000 mirrors shows us that the world is just a reflection. What you give, you receive. What you believe, you see. Kira walked down the mountain a different woman. She smiled at strangers and they smiled back. She offered kindness and received kindness in return. The world had not changed. But she had. Remember this, dear listener. You walk through a room of mirrors every single day. Every person you meet reflects something back to you. If you see enemies everywhere, look inside yourself. If you see friends everywhere, you know what you carry in your heart. The world is your mirror. What are you reflecting? Until the crystal speaks again.